Yes. Next one is Coriolis law of independent migration of ion. According to this Coriolis law of independent migration of ions, each ion which is present in an electrolyte contributes some fixed conductance towards the electrolyte. Say for example, we have AB electrolyte. So which is on dissociation we are getting A plus and B minus. So which has the some fixed conductance irrespective of the combining atom. Say for example, if it is combined with C also, it has the A plus plus C minus. The conductance of this cation will be same towards the electrolytic solution irrespective of the combining ion. Is that clear? So that is what we are calling Coriolis law. This Coriolis law is also defined as in another way also. So because the ions will have the fixed conductance, the sum of the ionic conductance at their infinite dilution is equal to the conductance of electrolyte. At infinite dilution, the conductance of a strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte, the mainly Coriolis law is used for the calculation of conductance of weak electrolyte. Okay, na? So the limiting molar or the limiting equivalent conductance. What is meant by limiting or limiting means the conductance which is calculated at infinite dilution. Okay, na? So the limiting molar or the limiting equivalent conductance of an electrolyte is equal to the sum of the ionic conductance at their infinite dilution. Is called what? Coriolis law of independent migration of ions. Is that clear? Now you see here the limiting molar conductance of strong electrolyte is equal to sum of the conductance of cation and anion. So at infinite dilution. Okay, na? So it is an AB electrolyte. It is called limiting molar conductance of AB electrolyte. It is what? Limiting molar conductance of AB electrolyte. Now, in this case, this AB is what? It is a sum of the cation and anion. Now, in this case, this is a very important for the strong, it is for the equivalent conductance. For limiting molar conductance will be what happens? The sum of the ionic conductance at infinite dilution, molar ionic conductance of cation and anion. Okay. So now here the molar ionic conductance will be there. No? The molar ionic conductance are directly proportional to the mobility of cation at infinite dilution, and the ionic conductance of at infinite dilution of anion is directly proportional to the mobility of anion at infinite dilution. If you remove the proportionality constant, so then what happens? It is equal to F into ionic conductance of cation. Now here what happens? At infinite dilution, ionic conductance is equal to F into U minus at infinite dilution. You substitute these two values. Then what happens? Equivalent conductance, limiting molar equivalent conductance is equal to the sum of the conductance of cation and anion. So that F you take it as common. So then we are getting this one. So it is called Coriolis law of independent migration of ion. By using this Coriolis law of independent migration of ions, we can calculate the conductance of weak electrolyte. So weak electrolyte cannot be calculated by graphical method. So for that reason they proposed this Coriolis law to calculate mainly conductance of weak electrolyte. Is that clear everyone? So which is very very important one. Okay na? So now we are going to see the applications of Coriolis law of independent migration of ions. Now in that first application of Coriolis law is what it is used to calculate the conductance of weak electrolyte by converting into strong electrolyte. Now you see here it is a weak electrolyte. I want to calculate, I am taking only equivalent conductance. Later I will explain with molar conductance. Now equivalent conductance at infinite dilution of acetic acid according to Coriolis law, it is equal to sum of the ionic conductance of cation and anion. Acetate ion is the anion and H plus ion is the what? Cation at infinite dilution. That is what we are calling Coriolis law. Now to this what I am doing? I am adding the sodium ions and chloride ions and subtracting. Now you see here, so acetate ion, to this negatively charged ions I am adding positively ion Na plus, and for the positively charged ions I am adding the negative ion. So I added one sodium ion and one chloride ion. They are having fixed conductance. That conductance I am subtracting. So ionic conductance of Na plus plus ionic conductance of Cl minus at infinite dilution. Now by combining these two, what happens? You are going to get equivalent conductance of sodium acetate. From this, whenever you are combining these two, you are getting the electrolyte conductance. By combining these two, what happens? You are going to get conductance of HCl. Sodium acetate and HCl are what? Strong acids. So minus, by combining these two, we are going to get NaCl. What happens? What we have done here, just we are converting that acetic acid into strong electrolyte by adding some strong ions from the strong electrolyte and subtracting also. Then what happens? Is there any change? No change. But we are converting the acetic acid into strong electrolyte. So by substituting those ions and subtracting. Is that clear? Now we know the what exact values of the strong electrolyte by graphical method. We can calculate the conductance of acetic acid by knowing these conductance of strong electrolyte. Is that clear? So next we are going to see the ammonium hydroxide. In case of ammonium hydroxide, how we are going to calculate? Now equivalent conductance of ammonium hydroxide, I am writing directly. You see here the equivalent conductance of, this is ammonium ion NH4 plus. So I am going to write the Cl minus. So we are getting ammonium chloride, it is a strong electrolyte. OH minus, to that I am adding potassium ions. So it becomes KOH. So minus, here I am adding chloride ion, potassium ion. So those two should be subtracted. Potassium chloride. Is that clear? So by using that formula, we can calculate the conductance of weak electrolyte, that is ammonium hydroxide. We can calculate similarly silver chloride also. Silver chloride, how we are going to calculate at infinite dilution? I am adding silver nitrate ion to this silver chloride, and I am adding the what H plus ion to this chloride ion. It becomes what HCl minus I am adding HNO3, that is HNO3 is subtracted. So simply, so strong electrolyte is subtracted. Okay na? So now next barium sulfate. Now Ba plus 2 is there. To that what I am doing? I am adding the chloride ion. So it becomes what? BaCl2 plus. I am adding to this sulfate ion, I am adding the H plus ions. It converted to H2SO4 minus equivalent conductance of, what happens? I am adding the H plus and Cl minus, that is HCl. I am writing only equivalent conductance. So that is what first application, which is very very important. Next, it is used to calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Alpha is nothing but what? Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. That is by using the conductance ratio. At particular concentration to the, at zero concentration, it is a ratio between particular concentration to the at infinite dilution. Is said to be what? Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. It is called conductance at particular concentration. It is called limiting equivalent conductance. That is, the conductance which is calculated at infinite dilution is said to be limiting equivalent conductance. Now it is used to calculate dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. It is used to calculate dissociation constant of weak electrolyte, which is very very important. It is used to calculate dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. Dissociation constant of weak electrolyte is what? K is equal to C into alpha square by 1 minus alpha here. Now this formula we got from the chemical equilibrium. Okay na? So now K is equal to C into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. We know the alpha value. By finding that alpha, and if you are substituting here, C is what here? Concentration. C is what? Concentration. By knowing that alpha value, if you substitute here, we can get the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte or not? Yes, we can get. Okay, na? So that is what we can calculate the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte by using Coriolis law. Okay, na? That is the third application, which is very, very important. Now here, in case of if the alpha value is less than, if the alpha value is less than 0.05, then 1 minus alpha, that is alpha is very, very less when compared to the 1. So it is taken as what? 1. In such cases, K is equal to what happens? C alpha square. It depends on the degree of dissociation. If the degree of dissociation value is very less, then that 1 minus alpha is neglected. So by knowing the alpha, and they will give in the question concentration, if you substitute, you will get the answer. Is that clear? So next we are going to see the fourth application. It is used to calculate solubility of weak electrolyte. Now we know the what relation between molar conductance and specific conductance and molarity. So this is the relation between molar conductance, specific conductance and molarity. So molarity is expressed in which units? Mole per liter. And solubility is also expressed in mole per liter. Solubility, yes, can also be expressed in mole per liter only. So then what happens is solubility of salt is taken as molar conductance at particular concentration into K into 1000 by solubility. From that, solubility is equal to K into 1000 by molar conductance. So by using this formula, we can calculate solubility of weak electrolyte. If you know the solubility of weak electrolyte, you can calculate the solubility product of weak electrolyte also. So that is the major applications of Coriolis law. This is very, very important for board exam point of view as well as problematics also. Now I am going to explain some formulas are there which are very, very important. Some formulas. So now we are going to see those formulas. Now here formulas are nothing but just what is the relation between equivalent conductance and molar conductance, how we are going to express. Now Ax By is there, so we are getting X number of cations plus Y number of anions we are getting. So X number of Ay we are getting, Y number of B minus X ions we are getting. That is X moles of cation we are getting and Y moles of anion combined to form the water 1 mole of AxBy electrolyte. But what happens? What is the gram equivalent of cation here? 1 Gn. Always the ions will combine in their gram equivalent ratio. Okay, na? So for this equivalent conductance at infinite dilution is equal to what happens? It is a sum of the ionic conductance, that is A plus Y plus at infinite dilution anion conductance. But whereas if you are writing molar conductance at infinite dilution, so we have to represent the number of moles of ions, that is X mole of conductance of cation, that is A plus Y mole of conductance of anion, that is B minus X. Very, very important. So these two representations are very important. So in molar conductance, we have to represent the number of ions which are present because they are combining in their moles ratio. Moles will be different in case of when they are having different valencies. Okay, na? So now we will take the other example. Now in this case, I am taking the barium sulfate, barium chloride I am taking. So whenever it dissociate, we are getting Ba plus 2 plus 2Cl minus. For this equivalent conductance, limiting equivalent conductance is equal to sum of the ionic conductance, that is cation and anion. But whereas if you are writing molar conductance, we have to limiting molar conductance is equal to that is sum of the limiting molar ionic conductance of barium ion as well as 2 Cl minus ion at infinite dilution. Is that clear? Now what is the relation between molar and equivalent conductance? There we had seen. Once again I am going to tell you here. So the molar conductance barium chloride, okay, now molar conductance by equivalent conductance is equal to what happens, molarity by normality. So that is equal to Z, okay na. So there what happens, 2 into equivalent conductance in this case of barium chloride. Is that clear? So next we are going to see some more example. You can take the different types of example here. We'll take the aluminium hydroxide. In aluminium hydroxide, whenever it is dissociated, aluminium plus 3 OH minus ion we are getting. So then its equivalent conductance at infinite dilution of aluminium hydroxide will be what happens? It is equal to sum of the cation ionic conductance, equivalent conductance of ions, that is OH minus ion. It is equivalent ionic conductance. Now in case of limiting molar conductance of aluminium hydroxide will be sum of the molar ionic conductance. So at infinite dilution, that is aluminium plus 3 molar ionic conductance of OH minus ion. Is that clear? Now in this case what happens? Molar conductance aluminium hydroxide is equal to 3 times the equivalent conductance of aluminium hydroxide. Is that clear? We had seen the relation. So from that relation we are getting, because molar conductance by equivalent conductance is equal to what happens? Gram molecular weight by gram equivalent weight. This is Z we are taking. Z is what? N factor. Now simple one more I am going to say, it is one of the problem which is asked. So in A to B, for this write the expression of molar conductance for A to B. Molar conductance they are asking, A to B. Whenever it dissociate, you are getting the water 2 A plus ions plus 1 B minus 2 ion. So in that case what happens? 2 number of cations at infinite dilution, and what happens at infinite dilution? B minus 2 ion. That is a representation of molar conductance, limiting molar conductance. What about limiting equivalent conductance of A to B? It is equal to sum of the ionic conductance. It is plus 1 plus it is what? Minus 2. It is what? Ionic conductance, equivalent ionic conductance of cation and anion. Is that clear? So this is what Corelash law, which is very very important for as well as board exam point of view as well as objective point of view also. So from this we are going to get number of problems. So those all problems we are going to see now. Is that clear? Yes. Continuation to Corelash law in that problem. So in this one problem I am going to explain 9 questions. So you are going to learn 9 problems in this one question only. So try to watch properly and make a note of it also, which is very very important. Now first question is what here. First we will read the question. What the data they given? The specific conductance of 0.01 molar. That is concentration is they given 0.01. It is nothing but 10 power minus 2 molarity they given of acetic acid CH3 COOH, acetic acid. In case of acetic acid, molarity is equal to normality. It is also 10 power minus 2 normality. Aqueous solution is the given. Specific conductance is how much they given? K is how much? What is the K value? That is 19.5 into 10 power minus 5. Ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. Ohm inverse, centimeter inverse they given. Okay now? Ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. And what they are asking? Equivalent conductance at infinite dilution also they given. That is 390 ohm inverse centimeter square per gram equivalent. per gram equivalent. So now we have to, and they given the what acid dissociation constant also. Now we are going to discuss one by one. So first one, we are going to see the equivalent conductance at particular concentration. We know that water equivalent conductance at particular concentration is equal to K into 1000 by normality. So what is K here? K is what a specific conductance, that is 19.5 into 10 power minus 5 into 10 power 3 by normality is how much? 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2, 10 power minus 5 get, in that 10 power minus 3 is there, 10 power 3 plus 3 get cancelled. So equivalent conductance will be what? At particular concentration 19.5. Now what they are asking next question is what? Second one, that is alpha. Alpha is what it is? Degree of dissociation. Alpha is equal to, it is a ratio between equivalent conductance at particular concentration to the infinite dilution. At infinite dilution they given the equivalent conductance at particular concentration 19.5. At infinite dilution it is 390. If you do this calculation you are going to get 0.05, which is nothing but, which can be written as 5 into 10 power minus 2. 5 into 10 power minus 2. This alpha is very less, that is just 5% of acetic acid is undergoing dissociation. Now next third one, that is pKa they are asking. So we know that what we have to calculate pKa. So they given that what Ka is how much? 2.5 into 10 power minus 5. What is the formula of pKa? This all will be from chemical equilibrium. Now minus log of Ka. So here minus of log of 2.5 into 10 power minus 5. You apply the, here you apply the log A into log B form. So just I am writing this value as minus log of 5 by 2 into 10 power minus 5. Can I write like that? 5 by 2 is nothing but 2.5. Now the whatever the multiplication terms, we have to write log A plus B. Okay, so here what happens? pKa is equal to minus of, so log 5 into 10 power minus 5, you write it as log 5 plus log 10 power minus 5 minus, in the denominator it is log of 2, that is log of 2. Just I am subtracting it by using the what? Log A by B form. Now you know the what? Log 5 value is what? 0.6991 plus log 10 power minus 5, that is minus 5 into log 10 is 1, log 2 0.3010. You do this calculation, you are going to get the pKa. So pKa value you will get. So how much it is pKa value? You are going to get that, you substitute here, you will get minus of minus 5, that is plus 5 it becomes. Okay, plus 5 it is plus 0.693 minus 0.3010, 0.44 it will be. Okay, 0.4774, that is plus 5 plus 0.4771. Okay, so then what happens? 5.477 you are going to get pKa. So from that pKb will be what happens? I am going to take the ninth one, that is pKb they are asking. So pKb will be what happens? pKa plus pKb is equal to 14. Okay, so we have the relation that. So pKa is what? 5.477 plus pKb is equal to 14. So pKb is equal to what happens? 14 minus 5.477. Is that clear? So you'll get pKb. And one more, here Kb is there, no? Ka they asked, as well as Kb also they asked. Are they not asked? So if you want to calculate pKb, okay, so without knowing Kb value we cannot calculate. If you know that pKa value we can calculate. In another way is what? If they are asked the Kb value also, we know that Ka into Kb is equal to 10 power minus 14. So Ka value they given 2.5, that is Kb is equal to 10 power minus 14 by Ka. that is nothing but 10 power minus 14 by, so Ka value is how much? 2.5 into 10 power minus 5. So from this what happens? Kb is equal to 1 by 2.5, that is nothing but, so you can write it as 5 by 2. Okay, 5 by 2, 2 by 5 it becomes, 2 by 5 is nothing but 0.4. 0.4 into 10 power, it becomes what? Minus 9. Then what happens? We can write it as 4 into 10 power minus 10. Kb value. So Pkb will be what happens? Pkb will be, that is 10 minus log 4. Log 4 is 0.6020. Pkb is equal to, that is 10 minus log 4 it is. If you apply both sides logarithm, okay na, and then log a plus log b form, then you will get this one. So 10 minus log 4, that is 10 minus 0.6020, that is log 4 value. If you do this one, 9.3010 you are getting. That is 14 minus 5.477, if you do also, you will get this value only, 9.3010. Is that clear? So that is the way you need to do the what? Pkb value. So next we are going to calculate, so that is H plus ion concentration. Most important, H plus ion. Next one is what? H plus ion concentration. That is the sixth one. You see, H plus ion. How we are going to calculate H plus? C into alpha. Okay na? So what is the formula for H plus ion? C into alpha. C is what here? 10 power minus 2. Alpha is what? 5 into 10 power minus 2. Just now we got the alpha value. So from this what happens? 5 into 10 power minus 4. That is H plus ion. Now whenever we have like this x into 10 power minus y, H plus ion, so you write it as its pH will be y minus log x. Y minus log x. So that is what? 4 minus log 5 pH. So then what happens? pH is equal to 4 minus 0.6991. So that is 3. What happens? 3.3010 pH. If you know the pH, you can calculate pYH or not. That is 14 minus pH. So which one? So pYH also they are asking, no? That is a fourth one. Okay. So here pH also they are asking. That is a seventh one. pH I calculated. H plus ion we got pH. And pYH 14 minus 3.3, that is nothing but, what happens? It is 14 minus 3.3, that is nothing but 10.67. Okay na? So next what is the term is left over? All the terms we had calculated, no? So that is what the problem. So by using such type of problems we can do the more number of questions. In one question I had explained 9 problems. Is that clear? So in that manner you have to be perfect with all the concept. Okay na? So till we had discussed the Coriolis law. So don't forget to watch and subscribe my channel. So try to watch complete video. Thank you.